To be honest with you, I usually tour Canada in the middle of winter. Like, it's usually February time that I come here.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You're brave.
I've never seen a face. I've never seen your faces before. This is the first tour where I can walk outside and your faces are completely uncovered.
We look a lot better, too, I will tell you that.
I always feared the worst, I'll be honest with you. I was like, oh my God, these people must have faces the shape of aardvarks, because you had those standard issue government Canada goose coats that come out 3 feet, they extend 3 feet in front of your face. And I thought, wow, I honestly thought the shape of your heads were different from everywhere else in the world. So it was exciting when you unzipped and I thought, oh, well, they're at least regular shaped heads. And yeah, it's really nice, because also I've never seen the ground in Canada. Like, I've never seen, I always wondered what was under all that snow, and turns out it's just more Tim Hortons. But it's nice that, it's nice to be able to actually engage a little bit with the actual the soil beneath my feet. So yeah, I mean, this is amazing for me. This has been the best.
You can even wear sandals in this land sometimes. It's amazing.
I've heard stories. I've heard stories, mythical stories. Some say it's not true. I heard someone once bought a pair of sunglasses here. It was unbelievable.
It's nuts. No, yeah. I know. Not goggles, though. Not
goggles.
The Todd Shapiro Show.
Well, look at this good-looking guy right in front of me.
Hey, it takes one to know him, my friend.
Oh, you're just lying. See, that's what we're kissing each other's butts to start this going. He's been in Toronto for a couple days now, so I just happy to have him in studio. I can't believe it's going down. I've been a big fan of yours for a long time. Danny Bhoy joins us. Hi, Danny.
Hi, guys. How are you all?
The rest of them
I'm
aren't
going
allowed
to try
to
and
talk.
bring a bit of sunshine to your grey afternoons.
Well, you being from Scotland, you're used to like this, the sort of the grey atmosphere.
Oh, this is a home from home. I feel like you've created this environment for me,
just to feel comfortable
That's
in it.
Right, yeah.
Does it when you're performing, you're touring, and you're so popular in Australia and New Zealand and all the likes of across the world, Danny?
Yeah.
Do you like the hot weather? Do you kind of like something that feels familiar to you?
A bit of both, to be honest. I like the hot weather, but it never feels right. It always feels like I'm an imposter in a movie or something, because it doesn't feel like, it doesn't sit well with me. And as you can see, I've got slightly dark skin because my father's Indian and my mum's Scottish. So unlike most Scots, I don't get sunburned watching fireworks. I have that thing where I don't have to worry about going out and slapping like factor 50 all over myself.
Walking in like a lighting store, you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But moths bumping into me. I don't have that problem, fortunately. But at the same time, I find it a slightly claustrophobic when you get to Australia. There was days when it was in the high 40s in Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but that's
hot,
bloody hot. Yeah. And I found it difficult from not just a Scottish point of view, but from a human being point of view.
Too much.
Yeah, but
although
even here, I came here on Thursday, and it was 29 degrees. And I got, do you know what? I don't know if this is just me, right? But I got a message on my phone. I was sitting outside and my iPhone was on the table and it was in the sun. And after 15 minutes, I got a message on my iPhone from my iPhone telling me it was too hot.
Yes.
It's too hot. We have to go. And I was like, your phone? When did you develop human feelings and receptors and stuff? I'd never seen that. 10 years in Scotland, I've never seen a message on my phone telling me it was too hot.
That's amazing.
I know.
But and you had to shut it, because these things can they overheat. It's
it wouldn't let me check my messages. Nothing. I was like blowing on it, going, come on. I kind of half expected to wake me up in the middle of the night now, just going, Danny, what is it, iPhone? I can't sleep.
Danny, you're too hot. You're too hot.
It's too hot, Danny. Too hot.
You're having a nice personal.
It's one of those things that it's nice to have nice weather, but it's also very homely and comforting when it gets cold.
Well, I've spent a lot of time in the UK, mostly in Ireland, and there is sort of I find a common. I hope this is okay to say, but I find there's a common theme between the Scots and the Irish and the British,
Absolutely.
Which is the ability to tell great stories, and that's sort of what you're known for as well on stage. You tell kind of an elongated joke. It doesn't just get like, well, I mean, granted you have laughs in between, but there's a story there. It's not just one-offs. And I always thought to myself, Danny Boy, is that maybe because they're like, you know, they're just kind of sitting in an environment where they're not needing to go places or do things, so they can actually have the attention of a crowd or an audience.
Are you making a reference to the unemployment levels in Scotland?
No,
and
the weather more than anything. Because here, you know, like you want to go and run and play, you know, hockey, or so you want to go. Like the elements dictate what we do.
Yeah.
There on rainy days, that's when I find my wife and I actually have a conversation. So I would be a better storyteller, I think, because of the weather.
I'm afraid you've absolutely nailed this one. You have nailed it. It is exactly that. This is sort of the problem with Scotland is that for 6 months of the year, it's dark when you get up in the morning and go to work, and it's dark when you leave your building, your work building, and go home. So you don't actually see sunlight for 6 months of the year. And what happens when you go home is, like you said, you can't just go, hey, let's go kick a football outside, or let's go for a walk, or whatever. It's cold, it's depressing, but most of all, it's dark. So that is where we just go, right, shall we go to the pub? And we go to the local pub, and we drink, and we tell stories. And that's the only way we survive the winters. So that is pretty much, that's pretty much what we do. I grew up in pubs listening to old men come in and tell stories.
Like you would have been a young, like underage.
Oh yeah, I was absolutely not meant to be there. I mean,
Nice.
this was breaking laws in the country. But I was definitely not meant to be there.
There's
but I
no
used to-
laws in Scotland, be honest.
Well, there was an old joke that if you're tall enough to see over the bar, you can get served.
I
You know?
like it.
Yeah, so
That's your roller coaster. That's the requirement.
that's it. That was the requirement. Yeah, we were not terribly strict about underage drinking in Scotland, which is good. And but yeah, so that's sort of the kind of comedy I grew up with, was the kind of yarns.
Sure.
You know, people telling shaggy dog stories.
Now, the generation. I'm 43. You're 41, I believe, right?
I am, yeah.
41 years old. So, I see this younger generation, a millennial generation, and even younger than them now, with my friends having children and stuff. It's, this sort of ADHD, you done for me lately, 2-minute clips and quick story, quick clips as opposed to storytelling. Is it the same in your part of the world for the younger generation that seems to have their focus a little bit less concentrated for longer periods of time?
Absolutely. There's a kind of instant gratification now in everything. And it's a problem in comedy as much as anything, where people just want you to get to the point. Get to the punchline, buddy. And you're like, that doesn't... Very often, I mean, I grew up watching people like Billy Connolly, and what he used to do was he'd work backwards from the punchline, and he said very often you'd find the jokes that got you to the punchline were funnier than the actual punchline, because you sort of stretch out the story and tell the... But yeah, you're right. People don't have the patience now to hear... To sit and listen to a long story. Everything's like, come on, move quick. I've got things to do.
Does that frighten you? Does that frighten you a little bit, or
well,
do you
it's
just
part
not
of the
care?
age. It's the new age. It's the new age of Twitter and 140 characters, and everything needs to be condensed, and everything needs to be. So it's, but then at the same time, comedy is my kind of comedy. I would hope is a kind of antidote to that. So if you are one of these people that doesn't like Twitter, that doesn't like YouTube, doesn't like all the quickness and the speed of everything, and you'll enjoy my shows, because it's a hark back to the old days of being able to sit around with your mates in a pub and just have a good blether, and have a good chat.
Were you? I'm glad you defined what blether meant, because the synonym of it, I definitely needed help there.
Right.
When you started in '98, Danny Boy, were people sort of surprised by your level of maturity as a comedian to do that, not just to kind of get up there, make a joke, go into another joke, because I think that's sort of a veteran. It feels like a veteran move.
Yeah, it does. Although the thing about it is, when you start comedy, you have you do what they call an open spot, which is a 5-minute tryout spot. You don't usually get paid for years, and you just go in, usually on an existing bill with more experienced comics. You go in and you do your 5 minutes, and what you choose to do in that 5 minutes is still entirely up to you. And I was at a time when a lot of people were doing those sort of try and fit in as many gags as I can in that 5 minutes. Whereas I always just if I had 5 minutes, I told one story that would last 5 minutes. And in many ways, I was putting all my comedic eggs in one basket.
Sure.
But when it worked, it was great. And when it didn't work, it was a long 5 minutes, because people didn't buy into it, and you still had to commit to it. So
it's like most of the stories I tell here on the radio program. Okay, get to the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
or make me laugh at least.
Yeah.
So I choose not to tell them anymore. I allow the guests to, and I just like to ask the questions. You're the traveling when when you first got into it, Danny. Did you ever anticipate this amount of travel and being sort of recognized by those foreign audiences, which must be so awesome?
No, and I still can't really get my head around it, to be honest. I mean, the traveling is the best part and the worst part of it, because you get to go and see amazing places and meet amazing people. But there is also, when you're on tour, that after that fourth week, it starts to get, no, not another bloody plane or train or whatever. That element of it can get very, very tiring. The recognition side of it, I don't really experience that, to be honest. I don't have a problem. It's weird because I do very well in a lot of territories, but I don't do TV, so people don't really, do the odd bits of stand-up and stuff, but because I'm not a regular on TV or film or any of that kind of stuff, I don't really get hassled, so I don't really experience that at all.
What's it like traveling, like staying in hotels from hotel to hotel? Does that is that?
I mean. To be honest with you, I usually tour Canada in the middle of winter. Like, it's usually February time that I come here.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You're brave.
I've never seen a face. I've never seen your faces before. This is the first tour where I can walk outside and your faces are completely uncovered.
We look a lot better, too, I will tell you that.
I always feared the worst, I'll be honest with you. I was like, oh my God, these people must have faces the shape of aardvarks, because you had those standard issue government Canada goose coats that come out 3 feet, they extend 3 feet in front of your face. And I thought, wow, I honestly thought the shape of your heads were different from everywhere else in the world. So it was exciting when you unzipped and I thought, oh, well, they're at least regular shaped heads. And it's really nice, because also I've never seen the ground in Canada. Like, I've never seen, I always wondered what was under all that snow, and turns out it's just more Tim Hortons. But it's nice that it's nice to be able to actually engage a little bit with the actual the soil beneath my feet. So I mean, this is amazing for me. This has been the best.
You can even wear sandals in this land sometimes. It's amazing.
I've heard stories. I've heard stories, mythical stories. Some say it's not true. I heard someone once bought a pair of sunglasses here. It was unbelievable.
It's nuts. I know. Not goggles, though. Not
goggles. But actually, in February, so to answer your question about hotels, I just never ventured outside the hotel. And there was, I think it was minus 25 with the wind chill here when I was here in February. And that's the kind of, that hurts your actual face. It's actually painful for your face.
It's Mother Nature being very mean to you.
It's a proper punishment, So I didn't really go out at all, which is the hotels had to be good. is the long way of answering your question. They had to be good because
you like room service. Room service is awesome though. No, like isn't it a nice excuse just to sit there and like kind of?
Let me tell you about room service. Room service is a bit like. It's a bit like it's a bit like the Cinderella story. The carriage turns into a pumpkin after a certain hour, right? So it's room service is fine during the day. Yeah. Then when you get to midnight, which is when I get back from shows.
Oh shit.
It says it's 24 hours. That's what it says on the menu. It says this is available 24 hours. But usually you'll phone up. This is a classic conversation. You'll phone down and you go, "Hello, I'd like to order room service." And then there'll be a slight pause and you'll hear "Yep." And you know straight away, that's it. That pause tells you, oh, this doesn't happen very often. The chef's gone home. This is my job. And it's the night porter. And he'll go, "What would you like?" And you go, "Could I just have a cheese toasted sandwich, cheese and tomato toasted sandwich?" And then you'll get a, "Hang on, just need to get a pen." You go, "You don't really need a pen. It's just a cheese toasted sandwich." Yeah. And you go, yeah, but hang on. One cheese toasted sandwich. And you'll be like, "Okay, you've never done this before, have you?" And they're like, "No, we've never done this before." And then it takes an hour because the guy's got to go into the kitchen, find the fridge, he's got to find the cheese.
Oh man!
And it's awful. It's just like one of those things that you learn.
I'm so paranoid. I'm not as bad with age, but I used to be worse, and I figured I'm gonna die eventually. I'm closer to death, so I'm less scared of getting disease. But they're touching they're moving the bags and they're touching all the pens, and then they're going and making that.
The health and safety's out the window. After midnight, health and safety doesn't matter anymore.
No, that's a rule.
I mean, he'll bring it. He'll have to pull it out of a dog's mouth when you get to the door and then just hand it to you. You know, sorry, he's all right. He just took a little bite out of the top. It'll be fine.
That'd probably just be trendy with this day and age. You know, with dogs delivering now to your
That's right. Yeah,
they'll market the whole hotel based on that.
That's right.
10
a
years.
little sandwich on its back of a big St. Bernard's.
That's a pathetic market. That's what people need now. Oh, you staying at the hotel where the dogs deliver the cheese and tomato sandwiches?
Well, it is. They overthink things in hotels. This is the problem. And like in the one I'm staying in here, they've given me an iPad in my room, which operates all the lights and the curtains and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, I've never had a problem with the switch.
That's the one thing.
The switch is the easiest thing in the world. You're in the room, you immediately switch the light on. You know it's going to be there because it's there. It's always on your right-hand side. And now I've got to walk around the room. Like, I got up for a pee last night in the middle of the night, and I had to find the iPad. And then I had to find the lights and the bathroom and then on, and then the hairdryer came on and that's not right, and then the TV came on and that's not right. It's just keep it simple when it comes to those things.
Maybe put the money into a chef at night. You know?
Hire a chef at night. Get rid of all the iPads and use that money.
What's funny though is because like my wife because we have a 1-year-old at home, Danny Boy, and I don't like to disrupt their sleep, so now I sleep in the basement. So I just use my actual iPad or phone as the light to go to the washroom.
That's right, yeah. We've all been there. And then there's that worrying moment when it goes off halfway through and you go, oh no, have I gone out of battery? This is a disaster. I've got to get back. This is a nightmare.
It is a mission, man.
Like the Poseidon adventure all of a sudden.
It is frightening. They need Tom Cruise to play me in a movie just to get back to bed.
That'll be it. That'll be the next James Bond movie. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to get back to the bed after having a pee in the middle of the night using only your iPad for light.
Oh, with kids.
I've got a question for you. If you got a 1-year-old, how are you not tireder?
I'm.
He said, well, that sound effect that pretty much answered everything.
The truth is, Danny Boy, and I appreciate you asking. My wife is. Wife is really good and lets me kind of sleep. I sleep about, as long as I get 6 hours, I find I'm good. And the other thing is, because I like to drink. I like to piss. Like, I really do. And I just made a rule because for myself that as long as I'm up at 7 a.m. and doing stuff and just not complain about it because life's too short, then I'll be a good dad. You know, then she can never question what's going on at night, and as long as I get to work and everything. So, the funny thing is sort of the longevity of the day. I'm a bit of a cat napper. Like give me leaving like 10 minutes and stuff. Do you do, like, I know athletes do that before games. They'll do some press or they'll do the practice and then they'll kind of take that hour to themselves and a good nap and then before game time. Do comedians do that before shows?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what in terms of take every opportunity for a nap?
Basically.
Yeah, I mean, because that's it. Your day is staggered through whether you're doing an interview or you're checking into a hotel or getting on a plane, and I think it's probably true of the same. I'm not a father at all, but it's true of when I speak to fathers with new babies and stuff. They just grab any opportunity that you can just to close your eyes, and it doesn't matter if you're standing up or you're lying down or you're on a roller coaster or it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. If you can just for a second close your eyes and no one be talking to you, it's just a moment for you.
Hang on, I have to ask. I'm sorry, Danny Boy, to interrupt you. Bilal, our producer, are you okay? Like, you're coughing tremendously. Are you well? Are you anxious? Because you're not sick.
I don't know if my hat's too tight or if my belt's too tight. I'll address it during the break, but I'll be okay.
Listen, if you're coughing because you've got a hat that's too tight, then you need to change your doctor. Because that is not a normal diagnosis. Oh, you've got a cough. Have you tried loosening your hat? Have you tried loosening your hat? No? Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna prescribe you a bigger hat.
All right, now I'm just taking it off.
That should solve your cough. Yeah, I've also got this weird headaches I'm getting. Now, is your belt tight? Okay. Is your belt tight? See that better? It looks better already.
I feel better already.
Yeah.
Do you? Or are you just saying that?
No, actually, it's a placebo effect thing.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Good. I was very nervous. His dad's a heart surgeon too, actually.
Oh, really?
So
wow.
You're having a heart attack.
You are absolutely not a chip off the old block.
No.
Wow.
Oh, you must be so disappointed, actually. I never thought about that. Oh, my
amazing.
goodness.
What can you remember the day you told him? Look, to be honest with you, I think my future's in radio.
Well, I think
And he
it
went, radiography? Of course. And you went, no, I don't think you understand. Not radiography. I mean, just straightforward people making jokes
Trying to
in the
anyway.
afternoon.
Yeah.
I got 53 in biology at about grade 10 when they forced
Right.
me to take it. I think that was like the last straw. It's like, this is not happening. He's not going to be a doctor. Doesn't even know what biology is.
Is your mom bright?
Yeah, no, she's really, really smart. But she's like a admin clerk at a hospital as well.
Okay. What happened?
Oh, dear.
I watch too much sports.
No, because I'm not being.
I mean, what happened to you?
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's a lifetime of wearing hats that are too tight. That's what it is. It's slowly caught up in you.
Squeezing the brain cells together. Exactly. He doesn't drink, smoke weed. He's never been laid, this guy. Great.
Wow.
It's the hardest working dude in the world.
Fantastic.
I know.
Yeah.
Can
We
you-
all want one of them.
What's that?
We all want one of them to travel with, don't we? That sounds terrible.
Because they're so reliable.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
it's true.
Exactly. You don't drink, you don't smoke. Well, you could. Here's a list of things you can do.
You might as well be Siri.
Yeah. What else are you gonna do in the morning if you're not nursing a hangover?
He's the one who tells me when my phone's too hot. It's amazing.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Daddy Boy's hanging out with us. So you already did your JFL shows. You're doing a big Canadian tour. How was the JFL? Because you did a few shows, right? Are you done all the shows here now?
Oh, you mean the
The Toronto shows?
Oh,
like
yes, look, it was just a couple of sort of underground, secret sort of warm-up shows.
Oh, cool. But
Yeah, it sounds a lot more cool than it is actually. It wasn't a Prince after party or anything. It was just it was like 100 seats in the comedy bar, and I did it last night and the night before. And the reason I do that is really just to find out if there's bits that
Sure.
are not working, why they're not working, and it's kind of almost like a workshop really. Because
were they working? Were they working?
most of it worked.
Yeah,
There was bits I had to drop, and like I'm doing a whole bit about Brexit at the moment, and the thing about it is, Canadians they're not like Americans. They understand. They know what's going on in Europe and stuff, and you're aware of the story. But I was being very specific about characters and certain people that were involved in the kind of Macbeth type plotting that was going on, and I realized that I was just losing people, and I was like, okay, that's fine.
Too
But
detailed. Is that
Yeah,
why?
a little bit too specific. But I think what's great about it is that I've taken that out, and then I've got this enormous hole with gold mine that is the American election can fill quite adequately, and everyone knows about that. So it's not a major issue. It was just to find out what I usually overwrite. So I do like 90 minutes, and then I'll bring it down to.
So you edit the bit.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so amazing. Even 90 minutes to be able to do that. And then you're doing the Commonwealth Comedian Canadian Tour. It's starting in September in Halifax, and you're going right through to Kingston, to Ottawa, to Hamilton, to London, to Toronto, to Winnipeg, to Regina, to Calgary, to Edmonton, Victoria. Yes,
I mean, I'm
them all.
surprised you have to read this. I mean, it's very much.
No, it's awesome because we speak to all of Canada, which is nice.
Yeah.
And you know, like you said, you've been to Canada many times, but a lot of people kind of just do like the Montreal or the Toronto. So you're not like secluding anyone.
No, absolutely not.
It's kind of you.
I've got nothing better to do, to be honest. But I know I like doing the. For me, that's part of the joy is going from is doing a country. If you're going to do it properly and go from one end to the other. I've done so many tours of Australia, and I don't just do the cities. I don't just do Sydney and Melbourne and Adelaide. I go and do like the little towns, the little tin pot towns, and the little.
You must meet the best characters.
Absolutely. Well, that's where you get your material from. You get your material from no one. You can't walk on stage and go, "Hey, I was on the subway in London the other day." Well, guess what? So were we. It's people want to hear about stuff that they don't know about.
It's a bit eclectic,
Yeah,
and then
it's
you'll
quite
compel
exciting
them
and-
that way. You'll grab them.
Exactly.
Have you, Danny? Sorry to interrupt. Have you always had good retention? Like, have you always sort of observed whether it was people or a storyline or something going on, and then knowing sort of how you're gonna, you're gonna turn that not only to factual but comical?
Well, going back to what I said about Connolly earlier, I do the same sort of thing as him. That the punchline. I see something funny or I hear something funny, and then I use that as the basis of okay, what led up to that? How can I twist and turn that? So I kind of work backwards from the punchline, And that's the way. And then before I know it, I develop it on stage as well. So I don't really write anything down. So like on stage, I'll say, "Oh, I saw this today," or "I heard this." And then if it gets a bit of a laugh, I develop it, and just each time I go up on stage, the same story just gets longer and longer and longer until it's sort of takes over the show.
That's amazing.
I mean,
it's such a talent.
Connolly was a folk singer, right? So he used to sing songs, and he actually he'd start telling stories in between the songs while people were setting up and tuning up, and then and then those stories got longer and longer and then eventually he just got rid of the guitar and just told the stories.
Did it as a comical bit. That, I mean, I've the utmost respect for comedians. Anyone who can command the stage and continue to have people laughing in a time where we need laughter.
God, yeah.
Now you sort of mentioned the American politics. The first debate is tonight.
Yes.
Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton.
I know.
I heard it phrased very well, or I saw it actually in an article on CBC. It said, it's like Lisa Simpson versus Bart Simpson tonight. and literally, and this is like a mainstream article.
Are you sure it's not Lisa Simpson versus Homer Simpson tonight?
I guess a little bit of both. I mean, I think the temper tantrums is more of the Bart stuff.
Right.
I mean, you must have a field day with this stuff.
Yeah, kind of. It's a little bit frightening at the same time. I mean, there's that kind of there's that jeopardy. I mean, you're talking about something which is really, really serious, but at the same time, the comedy value in it is extraordinary. And it's very hard to write jokes that are funnier than anything that he does. So he almost creates his own satire before you even approach it, you know. And it's quite hard in that sense. But this debate is like it's the ultimate showdown between reality TV and politics or old school politics. And I honestly think after tonight, well, certainly after the election, but maybe even after tonight, it's just it's a game changer. Everything's going to change. You know, I never remember in my lifetime seeing a battle like this. This is the sort of rumble in the jungle of politics.
Oh, it's insane.
It's absolutely mental. I've never seen anything like it.
As great as JFL 42 is in town here in Toronto, where we broadcast from on SiriusXM, brought to you by Pete's Pizza. I'll throw that in there. They're great to us. I would hate to do a show tonight because you're right.
Yeah.
If I'm a stand-up comedy fan, I'm like, I might stay and watch the debate tonight.
I know, yeah. It's the same when you do. Well, I mean, it's one of the things that's difficult about touring Canada, of course, is that you've got so much sport on all the time that inevitably when you plan a tour, it's always a case of it clashes with, you know, the Blue Jays in the finals or the Toronto Leafs in the playoffs or whatever it is, and it always compact. And you always know, even if you don't know beforehand, because when you're on stage you can see these little blue lights flashing up in the audience, and that's people checking their checking the phones and stuff.
As long as they don't give you those new beer lights that come when they score, the red light goes. They have that's how crazy they are here. Have you seen those?
No,
there's a beer company that's like, you'll have a glass filled with beer, and when they score, the goal light will be synced up through Wi-Fi on your mug, and it will go off like
you
that.
Are kidding
I'm
me.
not. That's how into hockey people are here, man.
I was going to do the same with my jokes, my punchlines. Yeah. Just have people, just a big badge that says "Laugh Now" and just flashes when you.
You know what? You probably have some fun there. The whole crowd's lighting up, and it will act up. And if you don't see it lighting up, you know you're bad.
Like a Coldplay concert.
Except no one's crying, just from laughter.
Yeah. Well, you haven't been to one of my gigs.
Yeah, okay. They're telling me you got to run. I wish you didn't have to. It's already 4:30. It's amazing how quick that time goes. Danny Boy, you're a great dude, man. I'm so happy to have spent this time with you.
No, it's been a pleasure. It really has.
Thank you. And I think we got some encouraging words for Bilal too. We have the diagnosis of no hat, and you're feeling better, and maybe it'll help your funny a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll help your funny.
You never know.
Okay.
Unfortunately, since you've taken off that hat, we can all realize just how ill-fitting those earphones are on you.
They're so... I know, to have a hat that's too tight, you must have been in the junior section to get that hat. Like, I don't know. They actually tell me, they're like, don't be mean-spirited to Bilal.
I know.
It's not my style anymore, but it's like you love it. See what I did there? I did a Trump thing. I did a Trump thing. You love it, and then you put it in their head.
Yeah, I'm using many words, many good words.
Danny Boy, go to @officialboy is his Twitter handle, or DannyBoy.com. I think you got to update your blog section. I think.
Do you know what? I'm technologically illiterate. I've no idea how to do these things, and everyone always says to me, "Do you know how old your websites and your Twitter and all that kind of stuff?" I'm like, I don't care.
I don't care.
Because there's always someone that can do it better than you anyway.
I know.
So.
You're stand-up, man.
Yeah,
That's your thing.
Things.
You know what? I get you that way.
If it was up to me, I would have, I'd have someone with a sandwich board on in every territory, just saying, "Danny Boy tonight," ringing a bell or something. Old school. I like old school stuff.
When you're driving through the town with big bullhorns out and like running for mayor,
That's right. Yeah.
We got a show tonight, Shay.
Here tonight, 8 p.m. Comedy, guys. Hear ye.
Send out a guy on a horse. He gets there in 2 years. Show's way done, but it's now on DVD at least. But,
that's it. That's exactly.
And you do have a bunch of DVDs that people should find too. Stoked to. I want to make sure to get to the October 16th show back in Toronto at Massey Hall. I'm gonna come to that. Maybe we'll pull some strings. I could talk to him for half an hour. But
you bet.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you, Danny Boy. It's been awesome. It's been a pleasure.
The Todd Shapiro Show. Turn up your speakers, especially if you're over 65. SiriusXM 168. Canada Laughs.